Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. So, a few weeks ago, Western meteorologists were saying that Europe was going to have a mild winter this year. Yeah, within the last few days, European meteorologists said that they are going to have a colder than average winter this year. Now, it's not going to be like record setting cold, but when you talk about a colder than average winter in Europe, what that means is really, really cold. I've pointed out before that, Northern Europe is on a lateral with, you know, Canada. So that gives you an idea of just what I mean when I talk about cold. Um, when I was in Germany at one point in the mountains, uh, on maneuvers in the 1980s, uh, we were in conditions that were 26 degrees below zero. Um, so when I say cold, I mean cold. So this causes all kinds of, social disruption, fear, and it also means that more energy will have to be diverted away from industry, shutting down more industries to be able to heat homes. And never mind all of the economic effects on this. All right, so this is not good news. Uh, anyway, let's move on from that. The Nordstream pipelines. This is a form of, environmental, not just economic, but environmental terrorism. And interestingly, the only government agency that I have heard mention this fact has been the Russian gas monopoly Gazprom, stating this. You're not going to hear that from Western sources because Western U.S. sources are implicated in this, highly implicated in this. There's virtually nobody else that could have carried this off. Anyway, but here's some good news on that. All right, so Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 each are comprised of two strings. In other words, each one is actually comprised of two pipelines. Well, 3 of those have been damaged, but one string of Nord Stream 2 was not damaged. I'm sure that this was some kind of an oversight, some kind of an error. I don't know how the pipelines are laid out, but Gazprom has stated that there was no loss of pressure. They are depressurizing the pipeline to inspect it and to make sure that there are no leaks because, partially, of environmental damage. It's still an absolutely ignorant statement to say that Russia did this. They lost $600 to $800 million worth of gas from this attack. And that's. But anyway, Russia is saying that the pipelines can be repaired. So that's good news. They're not going to do so as yet. They want to know first who is responsible for the damage, which is completely reasonable, because you don't want to fix it and have this happen again, which is just completely suicidal. You think of all the methane that this pumped into the atmosphere and into the ocean water, which this is having a devastating effect on the ocean, environment. This is going to kill possibly hundreds of millions of fish, coral, etc., and we don't know how long that is going to last. We can assume that if hundreds of millions of fish and coral and just the general environment is damaged, that it will take, at the very least, years for the ocean environment to recover from this attack. And it was definitely an attack. But there's no way to mitigate this. There is nothing that can be done about this damage now. Nothing. It's too late. And whatever country is responsible for this needs to be held liable in the international community, period. I mean, this is crimes against humanity. This is crimes against the environment. This is insane. This is one of the worst attacks to have ever happened in world history, modern world history. This is one of the worst attacks to have happened since Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That's how serious this attack actually is. But, so it's good news that one pipeline is still working. Has not been breached, and the other three can be repaired, which leaves room for more diplomatic negotiation if Europeans actually protest and demand to start up to restart the receipt of gas from Russia, then that leaves it as a possibility. Removing that as a possibility leaves Europe completely over a barrel with no options but to rely on the United States and Ukraine, Israel, Saudi Arabia. These are all countries that are extremely known for their aggressive behaviors. It's like I've said before, Russia has been selling gas to Europe since the 1980s. And Nordstream 2 was not their idea. It was Germany's idea. So they weren't trying to, they were not trying to make Europe more dependent on them. Russia didn't have anything negative to say when Europe is moving toward renewable energy. That was the United States that was complaining about that. That was capitalist entities that were complaining about that. It was also not Russia that decided to sell Europe gas at market price. That was Europe's idea. Europe's preference is to establish contracts. We sell you this much gas over this period of time for this price. Well, Europe when gas prices went down, they decided, no, we want to pay market price for it. Russia said, well, okay, we can do that, but you know if the price goes back up, that you're going to be paying more. No, this is what we want to do. Okay, Russia said, okay, we'll sell you gas at market price. And the price went up above what the contract would have offered them. So at this point, the way that Russia tends to offer to sell gas is that, a client country places an order for X number of million cubic meters of gas at a certain price. Okay, Russia fulfills that order. You don't place an order, then they don't send it. If you place a smaller order, that's what they're going to send. You place a larger order, that's what they're going to send. That's not trying to make another country dependent on you. That's just how business works. It's something that makes sense. So all this stuff about Russia's trying to make Europe dependent, Europe benefited from the arrangement with Russia for decades. They were getting less expensive energy for many years because of these arrangements. To just throw it all out is just crazy. It is absolutely crazy. All right, so the new sanctions on Russia. Yeah, you're gonna laugh at this. It's hilarious. What they are sanctioning is European imports from Russia of cosmetics, soap, toilet paper. Yes, they cannot import Russian toilet paper. Apparently, that is a security, a risk to European national security. Yeah. Oh, and deodorant. Yeah, don't import deodorant by any means. Yeah, that's really sticking it to them. Anyway, yeah, and so they were talking again about putting a price cap on Russian oil and gas, and a lot of European nations are not on board with this, and everyone with any sense is warning against this, that this will force. If you put a price cap on this, then Russia's just going to say, okay, we won't sell anything to any nation that imposes this price cap. And so, we won't send it at all, not at any price, at all. So what that will do is force the price of oil and gas higher. That is, if you can get it. As far as the United States being a reliable energy partner, look at what happened last week when a major hurricane hit Florida. Well, all of the refineries and export terminals in the Gulf of Mexico, they just stopped sending anything. Some of the refineries shut down until the hurricane passed. How reliable is that? If you got gas coming from Russia through a pipeline, If you got a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, that's not going to affect it. You've still got gas going to Europe. That's it. Meanwhile, America is now foreseeing a cold winter, and so our utilities are going to go up by at least 16% predicted. 16%. So if you're paying $100 for your utilities, well, then it's going to go up by $16. $200, it's going to go up by $32. If you're on a fixed income or if you have a low-wage job, how are you gonna pay for that? And why? Why are you paying for it? Why? That's the big thing. And it's all for politics. That's all it is. All right. I'm gonna end this there. Share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can, please donate whatever you can to help expand this channel and my presidential campaign. And I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a good day.